Today is a glorious day in London. We've got Swapnil here, who is a bit of a runner, but has a bit of a left hip injury. I'm going to see whether we can actually figure out how to reduce this discomfort pain. And tell me about yourself. What kind of a runner are you? How often do you run? And what goals and races, etc., do you participate in?
So, your first question of what sort of runner I am. I run only for pleasure. I just run because I want to de-stress myself. I'm not looking for massive race numbers or personal bests going back to back, but I do enjoy running, getting out there, putting my shoes on and then out there. What I'm looking for is to actually sort of shake off some of the injuries I picked up along the way. So one of it is the left hip injury that you mentioned as well. The other is just my landing posture and my running posture. I want to sort of see if I am doing the best thing I can for myself, and I do feel that I am not the best in terms of my pace. Now I don't want to sort of keep going on about it, but I'm doing about 5.5 minutes per kilometer. I would like to get it to 5 or just under if I could. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, what's your PB half marathon? I think you've done Royal Parks, etc.
I have, and I must say it is 1 hour and 50 minutes, saying that it's a flat surface.
Tell me about your hip injury.
Okay, so that's sort of grown over a period of time. I don't know exactly when I picked it up, but it's in the past 5 years. When I started cycling quite a bit more, I felt like I had picked it up even more and started to become more pronounced. I don't feel it on a day-to-day basis, but when I have hit the road for between 20 or so kilometers, then I start to feel that after the run.
Cycling or other running?
Running, yeah, after running. But I do get it after cycling as well. So if I do about 50 odd K on my bike, then I would also get the same sort of issue. And it tends to be a pinching sensation. I feel like my stride is restricted a little bit when I do that. And when I've got a certain angle like this, I feel a little bit of a pinch.
And where's the pain?
So the pain, when I'm striding, the pain is here.
More on the front?
Yeah.
Not the back? Not the glutes, more the back?
No, in the front. And then when I go in a certain angle where I'm actually sort of twisting it through the ball and socket joint, I feel like a bit of a graze.
Well, let's have a look at how Swapnil runs. You see Swapnil, he's a bit on the toey side, which isn't bad. He's not heel striking, which is a bit of a no-no when you're going slow. You can actually address lots of issues by not landing on your heels, and the landing on your heels makes you push against your body weight. Posture's nice and tall. He's got a bit of a forward lean. So overall, his running posture is pretty nice. I'm not too sure what his cadence is. Swapnil did a run on the 23rd of February, and you see the cadence there is 1:65, average pace of 5:43. So I really like to see cadences 180 or above, or no less than 175. So we're just going to compare our cadence of myself running at the same pace. You just run at your pace.
Yeah.
Swapnil. And just compare my running style versus Swapnil. So we're climbing a hill actually, so maybe a bit harder. You can just see the difference in our stride.
So the reason I'm doing less cadence is because I take longer...
Bigger strides, yeah.
Okay.
Which is less efficient.
Right. Now I always thought it was the other way around. And the belief I've got, Nate, is that I need to raise my knees so I can actually cover more distance, because it seems, in my observation, some runners that go fast tend to have their knees raised up. Is that true in your observation?
How fast are you running?
So I'm running about, between 5.5, closer to 6 minutes per kilometer.
Yeah, so that's more of like a 2-hour half marathon pace. And if you're more of a runner like myself and you're running towards a 1.5 pace, which is more of a 4:15, 4-minute pace, yes, our knees naturally come up.
Right.
But if you get the basics right and run efficiently, then you can add these other parts in. I personally don't think about bringing my knees up when trying to run efficiently, because if you think up, we tend to over lift our knees, and anything to up is less propulsion forward.
Right.
Because when we're running, we actually want to go forward, not up. So therefore we actually need our knees to stay more level, If our knees go up, which they will, and our feet, our kick will hit our buttocks as we go faster, but that's a natural pendulum cycler rhythm of our legs, not so much something you got to try to do while you're running a longer run. Yes, you can do it in training, you can do it in sprints and all that stuff, but in a long run, best to conserve energy and let rhythm and gravity flow. Any other things you've observed?
Yes, second belief, which you can bust that myth, is about my hamstrings. So I've always had this belief that my hamstrings needed to be stronger so I could actually lift my leg further back when I'm striding, so that gives me a longer stride length. So if I was to do that, it takes me longer to actually land again, which would give me a bigger stride length, which means that I'm going to go faster. So that's what I thought was going to happen, but correct me if I'm wrong.
You see athletes, when they're running, they've got this massive kick behind here.
Yep.
And that is because the momentum of the foot pulling the body forward, pushing, you'll see the knees go straight and they're pushing the body forward. Naturally, that leg with all the momentum has to go somewhere, so it kicks up. And then they're actually getting a bit of it drive through the hips. And then they land, the foot is in front, but then they land and they hit the ground. And maybe they even heel strike slightly, but by the time they actually load the body and the knee bends, their body weight is in front of their foot. Sprinting is very different. Sprinting, you may need to really reach forward. That's why people get hamstring injuries when they're sprinting. But for long distance running, you want to keep your natural form, keep the form going. And I personally don't train hamstrings, and I've done several sub-3 marathons. So that's kind of pace of 4:10 per kilometer. So it's quite fast. But I never train hamstrings. I train core, glutes, calves, because they're the ones that actually propel you, not so much the hamstrings. Of course, it's fine to strengthen your hamstrings, but that's not where my emphasis when I'm training for long distance running. See, it's quite toey. You can see the back of his shoe.
Now, most of my knowledge is acquired just based on what I've read up here and there, so I can't be sure whether I've got this right. But some of my observations are that I had a running injury about 8 years ago, and I twisted my ankle, and the surgeon that was seeing me told me that I'm heel striking, so I should correct my posture when I'm running. So I think I've overcorrected in from what you're saying, and I've started to hit the toe a bit too far.
Yeah, as you can see with Swapnil running just then, you can see the rear of his shoe when he's running, so he's actually landing more on his forefoot, which is okay when you're more sprinting, but when you're running long distance, you think of more shock is going through your foot, etc. And that same thing if you actually on your heels as well, you'll experience the same issue. If you're landing on your heel, that means you're putting on the brakes, and that's going to cause shock through your knee. And same thing if you land on your foot, your calves can get really tired, and you'll need stronger calves, and you're not energy efficient. So that's something we can correct.
The other thing that I've always believed I needed was massive calves. True, not true?
Okay, with calves, I actually tend to get calf strains when I'm running.
Right.
So massive, maybe not. Powerful though, especially when you're running, how Swapnil is, on the toes. And he needs stronger calves, because if he's on his toes all the time, he needs stronger calves. It's like tiptoeing all the time. Yes? So ladies wearing heels all the time, their calves are activated a bit more and probably have a bit more tone than someone who's just barefoot, flats, because their calves don't need to activate and support themselves up. The whole point of running, yes, strengthen your calves if you've got injuries, and it's good to strengthen for power, but not necessarily for efficient running. And we're going to talk about efficient running, and we'll demonstrate how to do that, and then let's see if the Swapnil can apply that to his running. What we're doing here now, keeping body nice and tall, we're just jogging on the spot, and our feet aren't lifting off the ground. Heel touches the ground though, and make sure your knees become straight when you're running on the spot. Good. And now Swapnil, if you can do the exact same thing, but slightly lift your feet off the ground, the smallest amount. Yeah, so you have a bit of pitchy patter. Go on the concrete now. So you have a bit of a pitter patter of your feet. Good, nice. And you probably got good cadence there.
Yeah.
Yep, you actually got quite a faster cadence than your normal running.
Right.
And we're going to go down this hill. So you're going to add a bit of forward lean.
Right.
Make sure your heel touches the ground still. But when you actually forward lean, it will naturally stop your heel from touching the ground.
Yeah.
Yep, and go for it. Just take it easy.
It's a little counterintuitive for me to actually try and hit my heel because I'm just not used to it naturally.
But don't try to hit your heel while you're running now.
Right.
Just relax your feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's getting better.
Yeah, so you end up more landing mid-foot.
Right.
Yep. Nice. Keep going. And from the back. Maybe landing still more forefoot, but that's fine. The main thing is trying to be relaxed and let gravity pull you along. Well, that's a wrap, and we did a bit of a how to run basics. Swapnil's already a decent runner, and hopefully by adding these fundamentals of not lifting the knees, not running on the tips of your toes, not heel striking, more landing midfoot, and allowing gravity to take you, he'll be able to build on that, and we'll see whether his hip injury reoccurs or is reduced at running a 21k half marathon at his own leisurely pace. And perhaps in the future, when he does the Royal Parks half again in maybe half a year's time, he managed to maybe do a PB there. Okay,